Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Slow Club. Time for another album discussion. Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, for everyone watching, it's regular. It's a regular, every 2 weeks.
You know who it is. It's me, boy. And with me this episode, the Flying Fish, Josh and RJ. What's up?
Hello.
Doing well.
Good to hear.
So what are we talking about, boy?
He always takes a drink in the most random spot, dude.
We're going to talk about another disbanded idol group.
I just learned about that 20 minutes ago.
I learned about that right now.
What? Okay. We're going to talk about Sora sakana this episode, talking about their last album, Deep Blue. Deep Blue, Sora sakana, this is their final album, their third album, released August 2020. And then Sora sakana disbanded September 2020. The group was formed in 2014, and there were 4 members for the most of their lifespan, I guess. It's only like the last year where there were 3 members. And so this album is actually not new songs. I don't know if you guys realize this.
It is mostly older stuff, yeah.
Yeah, Deep Blue has 2 new songs. The first song and the last song are new. It's 11 tracks. The rest are re-recordings of previously released songs. So
their debut single is on here and shit.
Yeah. So they re-recorded for the 3 members, right? The final 3 members. Are you guys familiar with this group?
I've heard a couple of their songs, and I've heard their name, but I'm not too familiar.
I like them quite a bit, actually. I think they were they're a staple favorite of Basugasa Bakahatu because we like idols and we like post rock. So you add those together, you get Sora sakana.
Yeah, I got into them with their first mini album or EP. And then I started following them from there, and then they released another EP and then a single. But then I started paying attention to other stuff, and they kind of were in the back burner for a bit. And so I knew when they announced their disbandment, I was like, oh, damn, that sucks. But I didn't really follow them too much after that announcement. So I wasn't super into them like I used to be when when they released their first 2 EPs or their mini albums, right? So after their second mini album, they released their second album, like a full-length album, and then this one. So going into this one, I didn't know this was mostly re-recordings of older songs. So when we decided to listen and discuss this album, I was just like, yeah, that'd be cool. It's their last album, but I did not know it was a bunch of re-recordings. It's like when I went into it listening to it for the first time, I was like, wait, what? I've heard these songs before. What's going on? Until I took a look at the actual track list, because I just had it on while I was going for a run or whatever, or in my car, right? And I was like, wait, I recognize these titles. What's going on? So
okay, so that's why I recognized one of the songs when I was listening to it. Okay, and now I know I'm not crazy.
But at least the first song and the last song are new. But Sora sakana, RJ mentioned it. They're known for this mix of idol pop and math rock. I think that's the simplest way you can describe them. Because no one really sounds like them, at least in idols. Obviously, there's a bunch of math rock bands out there, right? But as far as idol groups go, they're really the only one that was pushing out this sound. Formed in 2014, and that's kind of, I would say, when a lot of these idol groups started working with different music producers and reaching out and doing more experimental type sounds as far as like idol music goes, right? And you know, doing different genres but still idols kind of thing. So they were kind of cool in that way.
Yeah, so you guys have more experience with them. So I guess we should start with one of you. Which is your favorite song off of the album?
RJ, go ahead.
My favorite is actually one of the newer songs. It's Untie. It's the last song. Yeah, it's probably the least like the rest of the songs on the album. But it just works really well. I don't know. I really like all the layered vocals. You know, kind of started off with one girl, then another girl, then another girl, and they all start kind of like layering over each other and stuff. The piano is just fantastic. And for a good portion, it's just that. It's just the vocals, piano. It's really stripped down. It's a really nice contrast to the rest of the album, which can be really chaotic and out there and a lot going on just in your ear holes. But this one is it's really simple. And then towards the end of the song, the strings come in and everything just kind of washes over you in like that whole wall of sound thing, you know? It just feels really nice. And if you like that kind of music too, like this is more of a down tempo kind of track as opposed to more of a math track like the other one. It just feels really nice. And if you just have it on you got your headphones on and stuff, it just envelops you in this wall of sound at the end. And it's a really nice close because it's over. It's just like you're just there.
It's such a good, like solid end.
Yeah.
But like it's that melancholy though. Hit me with that sadness, man. I was like, damn.
And not only is it the end of the album, but it's the end.
It's the end of the group. So I was like, just listening to the song, I was like, damn, dude. It made me kind of regret not like keeping up with them after I initially started following them off of those two EPs. Because I wasn't like as into them in 2020. I just listened to other stuff, right? And then when they like disbanded, I was like, oh damn, dude, can't believe this actually happened. And then this track came, and it's like, oof, the sadness. But it's a really good ending.
If I knew that the group was ending when I listened to the song, it might have affected me a little more. I listened to it just as a song, and I think it might have been a little too slow for me. Like, of course, it's contrasting versus the other ones, but I feel like it was a little bit too much of a contrast. Like especially in the first half. Second half, I really liked, but the first half, I felt like maybe if they implemented like a smooth synth sound leading up to the big crash, then maybe it could have like led my attention a little more.
It took me a couple listens through the whole album and then this track by itself to like until it like really like sank in that this group is no longer around. At first it was just like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's not like a ballad, but it's more of like this atmospheric kind of feel, right? And then it like builds up towards the end, like the swell of like the strings that come in and like their vocal lines that layer and harmonize is really nice. So I think it works really well as the ending to the album and to the group. But it's kind of sad.
Yeah, I think I had to listen back to it now that I know that and see how it affects me emotionally.
For me, though, it is a bunch of older songs that's re-recorded. And none of the re-recorded songs are like my favorite Sora to Sakana songs.
Like it's a good selection, but it's like, it's not like my favorite.
It's not what I would have re-recorded, I guess, if I was the group. But I shout out to New Stranger, their third single.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think it's one of their like coolest tracks in their whole discography. It's just really cool instrumentation, like the guitar work and like it's so tight. So tight, man.
It kind of reminds me of Miyavi. Is that who does that style?
I see. Yeah, I can see what you mean. Like the guitars.
Yeah, with the guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like when it came out, the single, I was like, damn, dude. They're really hitting it off with like, the math rock style and super aggressive, right? Like in the intro, especially where it just starts.
Yeah, especially coming from the other song to this one, it's like you just got kicked in the face with that guitar and it's just like, whew, okay, we're going into the song.
And, some parts are like drop off, gets all a little groovy, there's a lot of cool parts.
Yeah, little staccato feeling parts in there.
Yeah, especially the staccato part in the chorus. That's so cool, dude. Where everything is like that, like even the vocals, like the vocal delivery. That part's really cool. So yeah.
I like the little hip hopish breakdown in the middle. Keeps it nice and fresh, while still tied into the core like math sound that's going on through it all. So I like this one a lot too. It's got a nice math synth pop feel to it. A lot of crazy electronica stuff that's going on like in the background underneath a lot of the more rock sounds. So you got like those huge crushing guitars and the bass, right, on the verses or whatever. There's like a lot of little shit going on in the background that you don't really. It just kind of peeks through here and there.
Little robotic little space noises in the background.
Yeah. It's really cool. And then on the pre-chorus, the bass comes out for that little funky walk, and you're like, all right, let's go. So just good shit all around on this one. Yeah.
This is one of my favorites too. I have this one, and I also have it's Koukoku no Machi.
Oh man, Josh getting down with the post rock feels, dude.
That's the coupling track from their second single, right? Koukoku no Machi, yeah.
Yeah, this is a song I heard before, and then when this came on, I was like, I feel like I've heard this, but I really like it, and that's why I remembered it. To me, it's a nice mix of, again, that rock sound that we were talking about with the electronic sound. I feel like this one does it, maybe, at least in my opinion, a little nicer than some of the tracks before it. There's nice breaks in there with some sounds and textures in there. There's little tempo changes in there that I feel like pay off with each other. And I also enjoy the effect that the vocals have with the melody.
This is like math. This is math.
This is math. This is right math here. Rock, Josh. If you like this, you might really be into math rock thing, because this is like the mathiest song on the album.
This gets pretty nutty. So there's a video on YouTube on their producer's channel. It's like only this song and another song where it's just the band playing this song, and like it's so cool, dude. Just see them just playing. It's like, damn, it's so like, it gets so complex seemingly at times, right? I don't play music, so I don't know what's going on, right? But it seems really complex at times, all the syncopations and like all the polyrhythms going on, like the different instruments are like doing its own thing, but like at the same time they're all together. This is like the sora to sakana sound. This is the style that they're known for. And so yeah, if you have the time, check out that band instrumental video. It's so good.
For this song, it's about the controlled chaos that's going on.
That's what I really like about that. Like the instrumentation can just stand on its own, obviously, because it's
yeah,
much like
this. Yeah, you could just play this as an instrumental song, and it's just like, oh, this is sick, dude. I mean, there are plenty of instrumental post rock bands out there, that are doing that. So
yeah, I think at the same time, it's the vocals themselves aren't like terrible, right? Like, because obviously their producer made these songs around the members, and so like the vocals fit in these songs in a way, right? Even though like the instrumentation can just be its own song.
Yeah, in fact, I actually kind of like the vocal line on this song. The vocal melody is pretty nice on this one. It's a good, again, it's a good contrast to the much heavier, math rock that's especially on this track. And it's just, yeah, it's really nice. I really like the synth line over the bridge. I feel that even kind of ties it back into the idol sphere, as it were, a little more. Especially on this song, because the song is really heavy. It's really complex. It's really, about the tight syncopation and just the math of it. So to have that cool little synth line just to kind of draw you back into, let you know, oh, it's still an idol song, technically. It's really nice. I like it.
All right, well, this is another song that I liked. It's Yakan Hikou.
Ooh, yep. That's from the first EP, like that got me into this group.
I think the song is just like a fun song to listen to. Like, this is a song I'd recommend. It kind of has like those percussions kind of give me like that. I've said this before, I don't know why, but like the Donkey Kong video game kind of feel. I don't know, I always relate it to that. It's the percussions, specifically. But yeah, there's the breakdown with the rush of just guitar and drum in there. With the background like just strumming along and then the riff going on in the background with the drums. I think it all just fits perfectly with the song.
I love how the verse sections and the chorus sections are different. Right? It's like super choppy in the verse sections, like all the staccato playing, right? And just like the guitars and these little like synth thingies. It's pretty like, chop, but still groovy, right? But then when it gets to the chorus parts, it's like this like kind of soaring, right, feel to it, right? Like all the instrumentation just like flows through, and it's a nice like contrast from the like, main sections of the song, and it works really well.
I like the verses more than the choruses. I don't know. It just feels more cohesive. That's probably what they're going for. They're going for this divisiveness on the track. And it works, but yeah, I think I just like the verses a little more. You just feel a lot more of the I don't know how to say it, but it just feels like everything's moving together on the choruses, even though everything's going crazy, different time of signatures and everything. Everything just kind of moving together, and it just feels more complete.
Yeah, that makes sense because the verse and the chorus are a little bit different. For me, I like the chorus a little more because it feels like we were mentioning, a little bit more like, I don't know, uplifting, more open.
Like flowing together, kind of like in a river, right? But then the chorus is like a waterfall because everything's just like, right? Like a lot of their songs feel like water, or like like being underwater. I mean, fish and shit like that.
Waves
right?
crashing down on you and shit.
Yeah, they really paint this kind of like atmosphere with
almost like they're in the deep blue. Am I right?
It's funny you mentioned that because the first track, it just feels like it, does it not? Like Shingou, the first track.
Yeah.
It's very atmospheric, right? And it just feels like you're underwater. And like as the song progresses, it feels like you're going deeper.
Yeah, like a little distorted, a little like you're looking around, right?
Right? Yeah. Like as if going deeper.
Let's
is
just
like
jump to Shingou then real quick. So I think Shingou I think it's an interesting song. I don't know if interesting always means good, but
I agree. I don't think it's too memorable, right?
It's a good song, but it's more about the interesting parts, right? It's like, oh, this is interesting what they're doing.
Yeah.
All the
it's not something you're gonna just sing along with, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like all the different pieces that are like here. Okay, you have this piece here, you have this piece here, you have this piece here.
Yeah, I think it's as far as like setting the vibe for the album. I think it's a really good opener.
Yeah, I think it works really well for that.
I think there's like a little bit of mystery to it, right? It's like kind of meandering at first before it actually, finds its place towards the end, and then right, like it introduces you to the rest of the album. So yeah, I wouldn't like put this on repeat all the time, but I think in the context of this album, like given the title and all that stuff, I think it works as an opener. All right, let's move on to the two tracks that follow the intro, I guess, because I feel like they go together pretty well. Crouching Start and Yozora o Zenbu. Yozora o Zenbu is their first single, and Crouching Start is the coupling track of.
Oh, interesting that they switched the orders.
Yeah, I feel like these two go together really well. Like they share the same motifs and stuff like that. So like Crouching Start has this very driving sound, right? Has these like floaty kind of synthy like electronic bleeps and glitches. And like the guitar arpeggios are pretty light, but the rest of the instrumentation is very grounded, like driving forward, right? The chorus parts too are similar to Yakan Hikou, where it's kind of like this uplifting, soaring feel, and it's very like positive. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I wrote down, it's so airy, I feel like I'm levitating.
Yeah. And then Yozora Zenbu is pretty similar, but introduces a little bit more piano, right? Strings in the instrumentation. It reminds me of like a hyperlapse of the sky. Like when clouds move all fast and shit like that.
It's like someone just puts their camera on like a bridge or something and just leaves it there for like a day or two, and it's just like everything just moving.
Like it gives me totally that feel right there. Yeah. So those two, I felt like go together. Like they complement each other.
Yozora Zenbu, is just really nice, especially when you consider it as like their debut single. So it's a pretty good intro to the sound, and it's a sound that they stuck with, and it works really well. Because I think if you listen to it, like Josh didn't know much about them coming in and didn't know that this was their intro single or whatever. It just works in the whole pantheon of the album. Like it doesn't feel like it's like, oh man, this sounds like it's how do I want to say, it's not something that sounds like it's old and then put into the album out of nowhere or something. It's it feels contemporary along with what everything's going on. Although again, this is all re-recording, so I guess technically.
Yeah, but I feel like they're pretty linear as far as their sound. They like hardly ever strayed away from this kind of core like indie rock, math rock style. Like later on, I guess they started adding more electronic elements, but still like at its core, I guess it's still like this style,
Yeah, I think when comparing the both of them, I prefer Yozora a little bit more. I feel like with Crouching Star, I wanted like a little bit more from the chorus. Like there wasn't that much hills and valleys that I usually like in my music.
What else do you like?
How about that Brand New Blue?
Ooh, this is so different.
It's an Advantage Lucy song, boy.
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
If you listen to it, it's an Advantage Lucy song. Sorry, Joshua. It's like, oh, dude, like right when this comes on. Yeah, right when this comes on, I'm like, oh, dude, so Advantage Lucy.
They did like kind of like this guitar pop, kind of like indie style.
So it's really bright and fun. Has like it's just like feels like a sunny adventure. With you got the horns going off. And that's right when it starts playing. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, this is like totally an Advantage Lucy song. The bass is just fuzzy as shit, and then nice little string line here and there too. It's just really nice and
This is originally on their second EP. And when I listened to that back then, I was like, this was like the outlier song. and it still is in this album. It's like compared to the other tracks and use heavily like math rock style. This is just pretty straightforward, right? Like there's no weird rhythm shenanigans going on, right? It's just like pop rock kind of style. We even have some horns.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for the horns, I wouldn't like the song as much. But the horns just made it for me.
I think so too. Yeah,
I mean the horns like totally bring it in. It's like
it's like all wholesome,
Yeah, exactly. Sunny adventure.
Like it's such a weird point in the album, right, where it just sticks out so much from the other tracks. Yeah, but I guess you need these kind of tracks. Maybe the members chose it like, hey man, we want to redo this song, let's do it.
Yeah, and I guess this one being the outlier kind of like helps the next one be like a little bit stronger, right? As we mentioned before.
Yeah, because after that is New Stranger, and it just like punches you in the face because
you were like all happy and everything, and then just like guitar.
Yeah, I want to go to the one before that one, Mabushii, which they put in their first album. This is so like it feels relaxing, but it's not at the same time. You know what I mean? Like the guitars, right? The arpeggios are very like just chilling. But like not the guitars, the drums, right? It's kind of like going off, and it's doing these like fills and shit like that. So it's like trying to make you feel two different ways. At least when I was listening, it's like like the strings are nice, right? Very relaxing, but then the other parts aren't. It's kind of like hectic, so it's kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, and then when the bridge comes in, there's like all these little twinkles and synths that come in that are even more hectic. Like I see what you're saying. It's like with the arpeggios on the guitar. It's like you just want to like lay back. It's like, yeah, dude, just let's go. But the drums, this is what it is, man. It's millennial anxiety because you want to relax, but in the back of your head, right?
Mm.
It's the drums in the back of your head is your
It's like,
anxiety while you're relaxing. Fuck, dude. And then
This
on
world's
the
falling
bridge,
apart.
some fucking mosquitoes come in or something and fucking start bugging you. And damn it.
It's such a weird like, which way do I go? I can't go. I just stay in the middle, just like. Oh.
Because it has this nice relaxing sound, and then it also has like a driving sound in between it. So it's like, I feel like this is a song that needs a couple of listens, at least for me. And then I feel like, all right, I'm a fan.
That was the same. Like that was me. You know, I listened to this a few times, right? At first, I was like, all right, it's got that like math rock thing they're known for, but yeah, these guitars and the strings are just kind of like.
I really dig the strings in the beginning.
Oh yeah, like for this song, I think I prefer the instrumentals a little bit more. Like if it was just an instrumental version, I feel like I might enjoy it more.
What else is there? I think the only one that's left is Ribbon. Oh, and Mahou no Kotoba.
Let's go Mahou no.
Mahou no Kotoba. I like all the little glitch elements. This is more of a glitch song. It's really cute and quirky on their own. You just hear like, it kind of. It's weird because they're all different instruments or different, pieces or whatever, but they all kind of flow into each other, and you can feel it like growing. And then when they all come together, it's just like this nice, fun pop song.
Feels like a Maison Book Girl track,
I can see that.
Yeah, it really does. And I like the little satellite beeping that's like through the whole song. But overall, yeah, it's just really fun and cute.
Because it follows like the Crouching Start, Yozora or Zenbu pair, right? And those two are pretty similar. And you get to this one, and it's like, oh, hello, we got new sounds coming, right? So I like it.
With all the different sounds and then all coming together to form like a fun little end. I think it's really nice. And even like if you listen to like the mix, the electronic sounds are a little back in the beginning, but then as it keeps on progressing, it comes a little forward. I think that's an interesting note that the producers did.
This is actually probably like my second favorite song on that one.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites in the album. And then the last song we need to cover is Ribbon. Ribbon is from their first EP. This is actually the first Sora to Sakana song I heard, I guess, because I just started with that EP, and it's the first track on the EP. So to me, this is like, this is Sora to Sakana right here. This is what introduced me to them. So this is what like, I have in my head when I think of them. It's interesting because it starts off with this like very innocent, just kind of like piano,
almost like a little classical piece on the intro.
Yeah, and like coming into this EP without any prior like knowledge of their music, when the rest of the instruments come in, it's like, oh, hello, this is pretty cool.
And even looking at the placement of this song in the album, it's like the second to last one. And since you mentioned this is the first song on the first EP, it's kind of nice to see that this is here, and then the next song is like kind of their goodbye in a sense.
Might have been purposeful.
Yeah. So this is totally like a Sora to Sakana song right here. It's kind of like their staple sound to me.
To me, it kind of sounds like you kind of tell it's one of their first couple songs. Like to me, it doesn't feel as tight as like some of the newer songs.
I see what you mean.
Okay, yeah. I really like the intro. It's kind of like this math meets classical kind of thing, like I said, and it's really nice. I like the piano and the orchestral instruments. Kind of wish they would have stuck throughout like the whole thing. Would have been like really interesting. They do kind of come back towards the end, and the piano's kind of there the whole time. But it would have been interesting to see again, just like see them there for the whole time, see what it could have been. Well, yeah, who knows what they were doing back then.
I do enjoy the drums in the song, though. I feel like the drums are really fun in this song. And if, like, someone was a drummer, listen to the song, I feel like it'd be a fun song to play along with.
Okay. think we covered all the songs in this album. It is time to give our scores, our final thoughts on this album.
So for this one, I had a tough time deciding. Like, when I first heard it, like the first run through, I was thinking like, there's a couple standout songs in here, and I don't know. It's tough to decide for me because I'm between two, but it's not two like close ones. So again, with
Then
the
you
first
pick the
listen,
number that's between them.
Okay, I guess you're right.
Yeah, it's meet in the middle.
Yeah.
I listened to the first four and I wasn't too into it. But then when the fifth song came on, I was like, oh, okay, is this what the rest of the album's gonna be like? And the rest of the album is kind of like that. A little bit more in my range, I guess I like. A little more peaks and valleys. And then I started to like it. And then the second listen, I feel like I liked it a little bit more. And if you guys mentioned that they have other songs in this style that you guys think is a little better, then I can totally see that with some of these songs that are here and stand out. So I have to say my score is a 7 out of 10. The reason for that is because, again, those standout songs are there, and I feel like they're super strong. But then maybe some of the other songs that kind of like are in between, like at least in my eyes, like are a little bit diminished because these other songs I feel like hit a better tone for me. And yeah, just overall, I think, well, now learning that, they are disbanding and everything, I feel like the songs might have a little bit more meaning if I were to re-listen to it. So that's why I said I'm in between right now. So that's why I decided to go with 7.
I will give this an 8. They're really the only group, or I guess idol group, that sounded like this, pretty heavily into the math rock. There are idol groups that had like, the Sora Top Sakana's producer make a song for, like Ebichu. But really, like, they're really the only group that really stuck with this sound throughout the whole career. I took a couple listens to this album because, like Josh, my first listen through, I wasn't super into. A bunch of older songs, right? Even though I've listened to some of the tracks before, it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, it's Sora Top Sakana. But like after a couple more listens, get more appreciation to like these little intricacies and shit like that. It's like they really like painted their own kind of world. If you like listen to the song, right, it has this like dreamy quality where like you're underwater
But floating.
They're fish, dude. Yeah, so it, like I feel like all their songs have this kind of quality to them where it's you're just like underwater or whatever. The music at times gets super complex and frantic, but I feel like their vocals are, what keep it like having this like dreamy atmosphere because they, mostly sing in like falsetto, right, or whatever, and so like it gives that floaty, airy feel to the whole track. I would have, since most of these are re-recordings, I would have gone with other songs. There are my favorite Sora Top Sakana song is not one of the re-recordings in this album. So, I would have included different songs. But the 2 new songs that they had are just like, as far as the atmosphere is concerned, is like so good. Like the first one really sets it, and the last one is just such a strong closer for the album. But yeah, if they had some of my other favorites re-recorded, this would have been a solid like 9. But I will give this it's a good 8 for me.
All right, I'm gonna give it a 7. It would be like I'm gonna say a 7. Really, I'd like to do a 7.5, but I'll do 7. Overall, I love math rock and post rock. I love glitch. I love down tempo. I love trip hop. I love all the pieces that make this album up. So it stands to reason that I would love this album, and I do quite enjoy it. But I think I like it kind of piecemeal as opposed to all as one thing, as one album, which might have to do with the fact that it's a bunch of re-recordings. So they're just taking songs here, and kind of making an album out of that, as opposed to like creating an overall feel or an overall concept for an album or anything. I would say, not saying that you have to do that all the time, but you get a different feel or different emotion when you're making a song 3 years ago as opposed to when you're making a song now, etc. You know what I mean? Well, I do really like it, and they are good songs, and I do like all the pieces and stuff like that. So. Yeah, and it's sad to see them go. My favorite sort of Sakana song is also not part of this re-recording, which I don't even really know what my favorite one is, but I know it's not on here. Although I do like Untie quite a bit, so maybe that'll be my new favorite. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? On the one hand, I feel like doing a left-handed best of album is a little cheap as your last thing, but at the same time, it's re-recordings with the three girls, so it's kind of different. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel. So I'm gonna give it a 7 because I do like it. I wish they would have just gave us a new album of a full new album, maybe with just like 1 or 2 re-record. Maybe just like flip the script, just 1 or 2 re-recordings, and like a bunch of newer stuff would have been nicer.
They didn't include like the last maybe 3 single releases or something like that in this album, which is I thought it was a weird choice. Yeah.
I do like it, so I'm gonna give it a 7. Hard to believe that this is all they've from day one just been produced by one guy, done all their production, he's written all their lyrics, written all the music, and everything. Especially when you listen to an album like this where there's so many different sounds going on, and you kind of put that into perspective if you listen to somebody like like Sakurai Kenta, who does My Zon Book Roll, right? A Sakurai Kenta song when you hear a Sakurai Kenta song, right? To listen to this album and then be like, oh yeah, dude, this album is all by one dude. You would not, I don't know, it's hard to believe that kind of thing. So yeah, big ups to him. That's just kind of a random aside, but 7. So what did that give us, Josh?
All right, that gives us, do some math in my head. That makes it 7 out of 10.
Oh, damn. Look at the maths.
All right, so if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like down below. Or if you want to comment your own score and rating, leave it down below. Maybe this is the first time you hear this group and we're like, wow, that's so great. I wish I could hear more. Well, you can't, but you can go ahead and leave your score down below for this album and maybe listen to their past recordings and see exactly how that goes. But that does it all for us this time. We'll catch you guys on the next album discussion.
Bye.
I'm waving to my camera. You guys can't see it.